Okay, so good morning, class. We will start our first module of steel and timber design. Okay. For our module 1, Introduction to Structural Engineering and Steel Design. So I am your instructor Engineer John Lester Navasca, and from the Adamson University Faculty of Engineering, Civil Engineering Department. Okay. So for the structural design, so structural design may be defined as a mixture of art and science. So combining the engineering judgment. So experienced engineers initiative feeling for the behavior of structure with the sound knowledge of the mechanics. So ginagamitan siya ng principle of statics, dynamics, mechanics of materials, structural analysis, and many more to produce a safe, economical structure that will serve its intended purpose. Okay, so that is the purpose of a structural design. Okay, so what is structural analysis naman? So marami kasing nagtatanong what is design and analysis. So what is structural analysis naman? So structural analysis is the process of determining the response and the actions. The process of determining the response of a structure and the external actions. So that is structural analysis. So after you've done your structural analysis, you will do structural design in order for uh, to create a solution that is safe, economical, and and stand its purpose. Okay? So yan yung structural analysis and structural design. So for the structural analysis, we have two. Okay? We need to find the actions and the response. So first, syempre, kailangan hanapin natin yung action. Actions are the anticipated forces or loads during the lifetime of the structure. So yung the actions, pwede natin gawin, let's say, hanapin natin yung gravity loads, hanapin natin yung earthquake loads, hanapin natin yung uh, wind loads, that is the actions. Ito yung mga anticipated forces or loads na pwede nating makonsider during the lifetime of the structure. Okay, so let's say the uh, the yung isang floor is an office floor. So syempre iba yung loads na yon when compared dun sa isang floor na gagawing residential. So we need to anticipate all load forces that ma-accommodate ng isang floor system na yon. So pwedeng let's say ito yung superimposed dead load niya, ganito malaki, ito yung dead loads niya, ito yung live load capacity niya. So hindi kasi pwede na let's say gagawin mo siyang bigla, kunyari na-design siya sa residential, then gagawin mo bigla, lalagyan natin ng pool, lagyan natin ng amenities, lagyan natin agad ng theater. So that is not intended dun sa unang design. So that is problema yan. That is a problem. Okay, next is the response. So we need to find the response of that actions into our structure. So ito yung mga displacement, deformations, stresses, shear and moments, yan yung mga response na yan. So yung that response is needed to design the to design the structure. Okay? So the principles of design. So there are many principles of design. So the design criteria are established to evaluate whether or not our design is optimum and has been achieved. So the typical criteria are follows. Okay, we have the minimum cost, we have the minimum weight, okay, we have the minimum construction time, okay, minimum labor, minimum cost of manufacture of owner's product, and maximum efficiency of operation to owner. Okay, so the minimum cost and the minimum weight is based na rin to dun sa economical ba yung section mo. Okay, so we will check if yung section na design natin is economical, and ito na ba yung pinaka-optimum design, or ito na ba yung pinaka-magaan na section na pwede kong ibigay na pasok pa rin siya sa capacity and safetyness of the structure. So yung syempre the cost and the weight is directly related lang naman tong cost and weight. Syempre mas mabigat, mas mahal. Okay? So minimum construction time. So syempre we need to consider din yung construction time. So for example, yung connection yung at that joint. So for example, beam column joint. So yung design mo sa column mo is napakalapad ng masyadong malaki yung width, and yung beam mo, let's say malaki rin yung width. Pero meron ka lang opening, so hindi mo siya mapasok. Restricted lang yung opening mo. So you need to consider yung construction time. So maybe magre-design ka. Maybe you use composite section, or maybe castellated beams na lang gamitin mo for to minimize the construction time. Okay, next is the minimum labor. So directly related lang din tong construction time and labor. Okay, cost and manufacture of owner's product is the same, and the efficiency of the operations to owners. Syempre, ang gusto kasi ng kalimitan lahat ng owner ay gusto matapos agad-agad yung the project. So syempre, you need to catch up yung kagustuhan ng owner na yan. So that is the design criteria, or a simple design criteria in the principles of the design. Okay, so what are the design procedure? Okay, it is composed of two parts. Okay, the first part we have the functional design, and the second part is the structural framework design. So ano yung functional design? So the functional design, it ensures that intended results are achieved, such as the adequate working areas and clearance. Okay? So we need to consider syempre yung mga dito sa functional design na to, ito yung tinatawag na design phase. So nagka-collaborate yung architect, mechanical and plumbing, or MEPF, mechanical plumbing, fire pro, and sanitary. So dinidistribute ni architect anong floor area yung gagamitin sa ganito, anong floor area yung sa may amenities. So that is the adequate working clearances. The next one, papasok yung mga proper ventilation and air conditioning. So ito na si MEPF, papasok sila dito. So magka-collaborate si MEPF, then si architect. Okay. Then adequate mobility or transportation facilities such as the elevator, stairways, and the cranes. Then adequate lighting, and lastly the aesthetics. Okay, that is the functional design. So next one is the structural framework design. So at this part, so yung selection and arrangement of sizes of structural elements so that the service loads may be safely carried and displacements are within the acceptable limits. Okay, so ito yung ating design procedure. So we have structural design procedure. So under the structural framework design, meron pa tayong iba't ibang procedure na kino-consider. So ito yung mga typical setup. Okay, ganito yon. So for the structural design procedure, so for example, una, planning. So ini-establish yung function ng structure, set the criteria, or anything. So ito yung planning. So let's say si architect, the architect wants to design a multi-story building na pwedeng pang office and residential, or yan yung building na yun. So syempre mag-establish siya ng function ng mga areas. So for example, the first floor is amenities. So nandun nakapaloob yung lahat ng pool, let's say pool area. Then maglalagay siya ng maraming garden. So maglalagay ng plants. So we need to consider all the areas. So second floor, let's say gagawin niyang office, third then pataas gagawin niyang condo, mga residential units na. So syempre kailangan ng planning done by the architects or the owner syempre. So minsan kasi ang nangyayari, si owner pupunta siya sa architect or dun siya mag-a-ask ng kanyang gustong gawin. Or pwede rin si owner pumunta doon sa contractor or sa mga design manager na I want to build itong residential building na may ganyan-ganyan. So, pwedeng mangyari itong si design manager or pwede si contractor, siya yung maghahanap ng architect, siya yung maghahanap ng structural engineer. So, pwedeng ganong cases. So, meron ibang cases naman na si architect ang kausap, then si architect yung maghahanap ng ang magpapabid ng sino magde-design ng MEPF, ng structural, then sino yung mag-general contractor. Okay, so pwedeng ganong cases. The next one is we have the preliminary structural configuration. So syempre, after mabigay sa atin ni architect yung mga areas kung saan yung gagamitin nila, we need to frame yung building. So ganun yung ginagawa. So let's say binigyan ka ng binigyan tayo ng floor plan. So floor plan, binigyan lang tayo ng floor plan. Okay, ito yung floor plan. Let's say kailangan mo na siyang framingan. So lalagay ka ng columns or depende yan. Minsan si architect ang nagpro-provide ng location of the columns. Yan. So kung gusto mo maglagay pa ng intermediate beam, pwede. So kunwari may pa-curve dun sa floor plan niya, so paano mo siya framingan? So you need to establish your framing system in this preliminary structural configuration. So yung kunwari nakukulangan ka sa shear wall or yung location ng shear walls mo, yung so you need to establish then dun sa structural configuration. So at this stage, magkakaroon tayo ng preliminary framing plan. Okay, so magkakaroon ka ng framing plan. Ayan. So after mo mag-create ng framing plan, you will establish the loads. Siyempre, based on the area given dun sa number 1. So yung establish mo yung load. Siyempre, iba yung load ng pool ng may soil, iba yung load ng may residential load, iba rin yung loads, yan. Iba-iba yung loading ng SDL or the superimposed dead load, the live loads, the gravity loads at that specific area kung ano yung function niya. So you will establish the loads. Next is yung preliminary member selection based on step 1, 2, and 3. So after mo mag-framing plan and establish the load, so maybe you will run your simple rule of thumb or hunch na based on step 1 and 2 and 3. So maybe kulang yung size ng column mo, kulang yung size nung beams mo, ng girders mo. So you will conduct a preliminary member selection. Okay, so based on steps 1, 2, and 3 and select a member sizes that will satisfy the objective criteria such as the least weight or the cost. Okay, so ayun, you will create a preliminary member selection. After that, syempre you will run your analysis. So kakanta ka na ng analysis. So maybe you will use structural software, structural engineering software, mga modeling software, let's say ETAB, STAAD, MIDAS. Okay, you will create your geometry, gagawa ka ng model, then you will analyze the structure. Okay, so you will determine the response of the structure, let's say the displacement, the shear and moment, the stresses. Ayan, kakanda ka ng analysis. Then you will do the design. So after conduct the actions, the response and the action, so you will do a structural design. So you will choose ano yung code na gagamitin mo. Let's say sa Philippine setup, we will use NSCP or 2015 or based lang din siya sa ACI. Kapag concrete or kapag steel, NSCP 2015 din and based siya sa AISC manual. Okay, so you will choose also kung anong year. Let's say 2015, ACI-14, AISC-15. Ayan, mga ganyang cases. So, kunwari, nag-design ka, dinesign mo yung structure mo itatayo nyo sa ibang lugar, let's say Australian codes or New Zealand. So, iba yung structure, syempre iba yung code na gagamitin natin doon. So, ganyan yung sa pagde-design. So, you will choose ano yung codes na pagbabasehan mo ng design mo. Okay? Next one is evaluation. So, you will check if the design is pasok na ba yung strength and serviceability requirements na dun sa result yung design mo, and tanong mo is if that is optimal. Okay, so optimum design na ba yung nagawa mo? So baka pwede mo pang paliitin yung preliminary member selection mo. Let's say your column PMM ratio or your column ratio is 0.5 pa pala. Sobrang layo pa, di ba? Let's say the demand over capacity is 0.5. So pwede mo pang paliitin yung column size mo para mag-approach siya sa 1.0, para medyo malapit siya sa 1.0. So yung demand over capacity. So medyo nasa parang twice yung lakas na na-provide mo sa column. So maybe ilapit mo siya sa 1.0 para maging optimum yung design mo. So that is yung cases, yung mga column PMM diagram. So you need to evaluate kapag pasok na ba yung strength, optimum yung ba yung design mo. Let's say yung serviceability mo pa. So kunwari you will ask yourself, medyo malaki nga yung demand capacity ratio ko, let's say 0.5 nga. Pero kapag binabaan ko naman yung size ng column ko, ang mangyayari, lalaki naman yung deflection ko, parang ganon. O pag niliitan ko yung section ng beam ko, lalaki yung deflection ko dito sa midspan. So hindi ko na rin na-satisfy yung criteria for the strength and serviceability requirements. So you will need to evaluate the pros and the cons of pagdadagdag and pagbabawas ng mga section and sizes and reinforcements. Okay. Next is redesign. Syempre, after you're evaluating your strength and serviceability requirements, magre-redesign ka. So, dito papasok yung repetition of any part in 1 to 7 that is necessarily and desirable after the evaluation. Usually, only steps 3 to 7 will be subject to iteration. So, yung redesign din na to, hindi lang base to dun sa evaluation na result ng evaluation mo. Maybe, pwede rin itong mangyari na nagbago ng design sa architect. Let's say, yung third floor pala, gagawin niya ring amenities. So, ang una mong design is lalagyan ng residential area lang. So, you need to include additional loads para doon. So, mag-uulit ka na naman, magre-redesign ka na naman. Or, kunwari yung top floor, may lalagyan ng helicopter pad. Okay, may pwedeng mag-landing yung helicopter. So, syempre, you need to reestablish again the loadings and the gravity loads at that area. So, maybe kakapalan mo yung thickness ng slab, magbabago na naman yung stiffness matrix or the masses matrix of the whole structure. So, magre-redesign ka ulit. So, yan yung redesign. And lastly, syempre, hopefully matapos na yung design mo within a specific time is yung final decision. Syempre, determination of whether or not your design has been achieved. Okay, so please note that all of this structural design procedure is very tedious. Okay, so after kasi ng final decision mo, let's say, pasok na yung, ito na yung design mo, magkakaroon ka pa ng construction drawings and detailing. Magkakaroon ka pa ng drawings and detailing. So after the final decision, so create ka ng construction drawing and you will create a detailing sa structural design, structural plans. Okay, so kung meron man sa inyo gusto maging structural engineer, so all of this structural design procedure is squeezed in a very hectic schedule. So minsan kasi dyan, 2 months lang kailangan ma-establish mo to lahat, or may yung iba 1 month lang, medyo mahirap talaga. So if you want to be a structural engineer, dapat maging okay ka sa mga time pressure, or very parang cramming, or you need to yung mga time limit. So sobrang time pressure talaga sa structural engineering field. Okay, so kasi yan, mga kailangan nila ng mabilisan kasi yung maybe yung structural plans kailanganin kasi yan sa mechanical, yung sizes mo ng beams kailangan yan sa mechanical kasi there are height requirements na you need to consider. So kapag masyadong malaki yung beam mo naman, so maaapektuhan naman yung mechanical and electrical, MEPF yan, so on. Yung mga MEPF, syempre mga piping nila kasi may dadaan pa sila sa ilalim, di ba? So kapag masyadong malaki na yung size ng beam mo, mangyayari kakaroon ng clear height requirements. So yung mga clear height, syempre dadaan sila sa ilalim, mga tubo, yan. So that is the main mga problem yan sa site, sa pagde-design. Yan. So next is the philosophies of the design. So for the philosophies of the design, we have the LRFD and the ASD. So I think you heard LRFD and ASD in your RCD. Okay. So for the LRFD and ASD, sa steel design medyo magkaiba sila dahil masyado nang malayo eh. Kung pag-uusapan yung NCP 2001 versus the NCP 2010 or 2015, sa NCP 2001 hindi pa siya nagko-consider ng LRFD. So ASD lang siya, then based lang siya, yung all formulas are based on the elastic region. However, in 2015 and 2015 NCP, hinati nila sa dalawa, load resistance factor design and ASD. Meron pa ring ASD dun sa NCP 2010 and 2015. However, yung formula niya is based on the plastic analysis. So, open natin yung whiteboard. So, quick lang natin yung the difference between the ASD and the LRF. Okay. So, nakikita niyo ba yung whiteboard?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. So, let's say pag-usapan natin yung code na NCP 2015. Let's say NCP 2015 yung gagamitin natin structural code. Okay, so under the NCP 2015, we have the allowable stress design. Allowable stress design for the ASD, and we have the load resistance factor design or the LRFD. Yan. So under the allowable stress design, ang pinag-uusapan lang dito is working stress versus the nominal capacity. Okay. So alam niyo naman 'di ba na ang the main concept of the pag-structural analysis or structural design is syempre you will compare lang yung demand always versus the capacity. Ito lang lagi yung ginagawa natin. Pag nagde-design tayo, you will always, kahit tandaan nyo to you will always compare the demand versus the capacity. Kung yung demand ba is at gato kalaki, let's say 100 kilograms, and the capacity lang is 50 kilograms, sa tingin mo ba kakayanin niya yung demand? So hindi. Ganun lang lahat. So ganito lang din ang pinagbabasihan ng pagde-design. Okay? So I need to find the charger with So yan. So for the AST, we have the working stress. Okay, so working stress, ang working stress, that is unfactored load. And the nominal is this one. So let's say for example, si Heidelin Diaz. So remember Heidelin Diaz, the Olympic gold medal. Okay. So si Heidelin Diaz, kaya niyang buhatin is let's say 150 kilograms. Let's say 150 kilograms. Yan talaga yung kaya niyang buhatin. Okay? However, hindi niya pwedeng isagad yan, yung 150 kilograms. Kasi nga, kapag sinagad niya yung 150 kilograms, paano kung mali yung form niya? So, bawal mo siyang i-design. Saktuhan lang to 150 kilograms, saktuhan yan. So, kunwari, pagbuhat niya, nauna yung kaliwa, tapos yung kanan. So, nagbago yung form niya. Or may mali yung breathing niya. Di ba? Nagkamali siya ng breathing. So, wala siyang factor. Wala siyang tawag dito, wala siyang factor of safety. Kasi saktuhan lang Hindi niya kayang buhatin yung 150 kg. Kaya niya kung assuming na perfect condition siya. Perfect condition. So, hindi naman palaging perfect condition, di ba? So, maybe nauna yung kaliwa, lang milliseconds, nauna yung kanan, milliseconds. So hindi niya binuhat yung 150 kilograms. So ganun din sa allowable stress design. Yung nominal capacity mo, dinidivide mo yan ng factor of safety. Okay? Dinidivide mo yan ng factor of safety. So that factor of safety ay denoted as omega. And that factor of safety, is always greater than 1.0. Okay? Syempre, ganun nga, hindi mo pwedeng ipabuhat kay Heidelin Diaz yung 150 kilograms right exactly kasi nga hindi naman perfect yung scenario. So paano kung nauna yung kaliwang kamay versus kanang kamay, so unbalanced na agad or nagkamali yung breathing niya. So yon, so hindi mo siya pwedeng ipabuhat sa kanya. So that is the working stress design. However, dito sa load resistance factor design, ang kino-compare dito is yung ultimate load versus the resistance. So, ganun din yung concept. Ito yung demand, ito yung capacity. Okay? So, same kwento, same story. Let's say Heidelin Diaz, 150 kilograms din. Yan. So sa load resistance factor designs or the LRFD, so that is ultimate load. Ibig sabihin, this one is factored. Ganito ang style naman sa LRFD. So ang ginagawa dito, pina-factor yung load. Yung load yung pinapalaki. Okay? So if you recall, meron tayong iba't ibang load combination. Let's say U1, ito yung 1.4 dead load. If you recall, U2 is equals to 1.2 dead load plus 1.6 live load. Okay. So ganoon ang ginagawa. Let's say ito, puro dead load lang to. So minumultiply ito ng 1.4 and we assume that ang bubuhatin ni Heidelin Diaz, ito bubuhatin niya rin to. Let's say ang bubuhatin ni Heidelin Diaz is 50 times 4 is 20. So that is 170 kilograms. So we will assume that yung 150 kilograms na unfactored load, ang total talaga na bubuhatin niya under ultimate load is 170 kilograms. So we will check na if Heidelin Diaz can hold the 160 kilogram na the weight of the barbell na 160 kilogram. Okay, that is the ultimate load, sir. And ultimate load shall be less than or equal to the resistance. So syempre dapat yung demand is less than or equal to sa capacity. Okay, however, dito sa resistance, minumultiply siya ng factor phi. So ibig sabihin yung load, kaya nga tinawag siya na load resistance factor design kasi yung load ay may factor and yung resistance may factor. Ito yung load, Ito yung resistance, naglagay ng factor, yung resistance, naglagay ng factor. So yung resistance, ang tawag, that is also a capacity, resistance lang yung tawag nila. Okay, that factor phi, ang tawag dyan is, that is the resistance factor. Okay, yung resistance, that is the nominal then. Ito yung comparing to the allowable design, that is also the nominal. And that factor phi is less than 1.0 naman. So comparing to the ASD, yung factor of safety niya is greater than 1.0 since dinidivide. Kapag LRFD naman, yung factor phi is less than 1.0 dahil minumultiply siya. Okay, yan yung sa LRFD. So ASD versus LRFD. So in ASD unfactored versus nominal over factor of safety, whereas the load resistance is dalawa yung may factor. Load ay may factor and resistance is may factor. Okay? And also take note that the allowable stress design is under elastic region. Ibig sabihin, all formulas under the allowable stress design ay kinukonsider lang yung elastic region of the material, and this one is yung plastic region. So if you recall, elastic region, ito yung region where your material is elastic, so ibig sabihin babalik pa siya doon sa original. Kapag na-deform siya, babalik pa siya doon sa original form niya, whereas yung plastic is nagkakaroon na siya ng plastic hinging and medyo lagpas na siya sa elastic region. Okay, that is the load resistance and the AST. Okay, so balik tayo dito sa philosophies of the design. Okay, so the basic principle again, that is capacity compared to the demand. So resistance compared to the load, R is compared to Q. So that is always the basic design principle. So take note of this one para hindi kayo malito. Always find the capacity, find the demand, compare. Okay. So what are the structural loadings? I think alam nyo na rin to. We have the dead load, we have the live load, we have the wind load, earthquake loads, snow loads, hydrostatic loads, and other special loads. So under dead load, we have the self-weight, we have the superimposed dead loads. Okay, so we have the dead load, that is a static force that are relatively constant for an extended time. Okay, so we have two dead loads. We have the self-weight and the superimposed dead loads. Self-weight is yun yung dead weight of the structure includes the full weight. Let's say the self-weight of the beams, columns, staircase, floors, walls, etc. And the superimposed dead load is the permanent appliances and any fixed decorations. So kunwari, partition wall, gagawa ka ng fixtures, ceiling, framing, ayan. That is under a superimposed dead load. Next one is the live load. So the live load is usually a variable of moving loads. So live load refers to the occupational forces from the occupancy intended use. So let's say iba yung live load kapag residential use, iba yung live load kapag office use, iba yung live load kapag amenities, iba yung live load kapag pool, iba yung live load kapag gardens, okay? Iba yung live load kapag theater. Ayan, that is a live load. So, the trick question, paano kapag corpse? Ano ba siya, dead load or a live load? Okay? So, a corpse is under a live load. Bakit? Hindi naman fix yung location ng corpse. Siyempre, hahanap, mawawala din yan. Siyempre, mahanap yan, mahanap yung corpse na yan or yung bangkay. So, under siya ng live load. So, variable moving load yan. So, matatanggal yan sa that specific location. Okay? So, we have also the lateral loads. Yung lateral loads natin, we have the wind load, we have the earthquake load. So, please note this wind load. Okay. So, remember yung current na bagyo, bagyong Odette. Okay, if you recall yung isang gymnasium nila na natanggal lahat. So kung mapapansin nyo, ang nag-govern doon na lateral loads is dead load lang syempre. However, under investigation, yung wind load na yon is under 200 kph lang. So yung 200 kph o 200 kilometer per hour is under pa rin siya ng hindi siya ganoon kataas Nade-design talaga siya sa under NSCP 2015. So napansin na during the construction, yung mga double angle or mga double angle section niya is hindi maganda yung pagkaka-weld. So poor construction and poor na hindi masyadong tiningnan nung engineer of record yung implementation sa site. So kaya nangyari, nag-collapse yung buong building, yung buong gymnasium or parang ano tawag dito evacuation center na yon. Yun. So that is so poor poor construction and poor implementation of the design. Okay, next one is we have the earthquake load. As you all know, Philippines is under the Pacific Ring of Fire and very frequent or madalas yung ating mga earthquakes. Okay? So, kino-consider natin yung earthquake and wind load sa Philippines. However, yung snow loads, syempre wala namang snow sa Pilipinas, so hindi natin ito kino-consider. Pero kung sa mga ibang country, they're considering snow loads. Kasi ang mga snow na yan is nai-stack yan sa roof. Nai-stack yan sa roof. So, hindi yan natatanggal agad-agad. So, bumibigat yung roof mo. So, kapag hindi mo na-consider yung snow loads, pwedeng mangyari, mababa yung design mo sa roof mo, bumagsak yung snow doon sa loob ng bahay mo. That is snow loads. Okay. So, hydrostatic loads, ito yung mga loads under kapag magde-design ka ng mga dams. Yan, magde-design ka ng dams. So, you need to consider the hydrostatic forces. And lastly, we have the special loads. So, yung mga special loads, kasama na dito yung vibration, impact loads, induced vibration, yung mga ganyan, blast loading, yan, special loads yan. Okay? Then, we have the limit states. Okay. So we have two categories or two limit states that are considered in the design. So nabanggit ko na to kanina, we have the strength and serviceability. Okay. Doon sa strength, the maximum ductile strength, buckling, fatigue, failure, fracture, overturning, sliding, that is strength based mismo sa capacity, sa strength niya. Okay? And lastly, we have the serviceability limit state. Okay, ano yung serviceability limit state? Yung serviceability limit state, ito yung deflection, vibration, permanent deformation, cracking. So, serviceability. Nakikita yan mismo ng homeowner or the client, okay, under the service condition. So, we need to consider syempre yung serviceability limit state din. So, kunwari, nag-design ka nga, pasok ka nga sa strength limit state, pero yung vibration naman ng floor mo sobrang lakas or the deflection of yung floor mo is sobrang lakas. So imagine yung kung nakapunta na ka sa mga mall, kapag sabay-sabay naglakad yung mga tao, sobrang daming tao, kung may mga mall na parang nagva-vibrate yung floor, yun, nagva-vibrate yung floor. So hindi na nila na-overlook nila yung serviceability limit state. So hindi naman siya magko-collapse, pero sa ibang tao, syempre sa ibang tao hindi siya ganoon hindi ganoon kaganda yung dating ng pag-vibrate ng floor kasi nga na-overlook yung serviceability limit state. Okay. So take note that rather than the failure term, we will consider the limit state term. Okay. So rather than failure, the term is limit state. So kapag sinabi natin failure or failure yung beam mo, hindi ganun. Sasabihin natin na under siya sa limit state na. Okay, may limit state na flexure, limit state na buckling, or limit state na deflection. Okay. You will use the term limit state. Okay, the codes and design standards in the Philippines. Okay, for the codes and design standard in the Philippines, we have the NSCP 2010, NSCP 2015, and the Steel Construction Manual or the AISC. Okay, so ito yung mga steel design codes sa Pilipinas. Okay, take note that the NCP will alam ko maglalabas sila ng NCP 2021. So hindi pa rin yata na ilabas. Pero mayroon silang ilalabas na code. So under that code, kung nag-earthquake engineering na kayo, mapapalitan na yung UBC 1997 and magiging AS CE7-5 na siya. So naka-base na siya sa IBC 2000. Okay, iba na yung pag-solve ng earthquake lateral loads. So a quick trivia of the new NSCP 2000 2020 or to 2021 yata yung papangalan nila. Okay. Then we have the LRFD, ASD. Ito na yung nabanggit ko kanina. Yung LRFD is load factor resistance factor design, and the ASD is allowable stress design over FS, whereas your factor of safety is greater than 1.0 and your resistance is less than 1.0. Okay? Ito yun. Okay, so there are also uncertainties in the design. So uncertainty exists in everything we design. We compensate for the uncertainties in our design. The way in which we compensate is different between LRF and ASD. Okay, so we have the nominal capacity resistance factor. So uncertainties nito is yung mga material properties, construction tolerances. Kapag load factor naman, uncertainties nito is yung mga variable loads. However, dito naman sa uncertainty sa ASD or allowable stress design is yung factor of safety kasi they are using a single variable to handle all uncertainties in both load and capacity. So yung that factor of safety is yung factor of safety lang yung nag-handle ng different uncertainties na yan. So medyo may pagkukulang yung factor of safety. Okay, additional uncertainties for both design code of the LRFD versus the ASD is yung design error and the construction error. Okay, take note that the construction error cannot be incorporated in the design codes but are addressed through proper quality assurance technique and proper detailing. Okay, kaya nga tayo may quality control and quality assurance doon sa site. May QA/QC, quality QA/QC tayo sa site. Sila yung mag-assure ng detailing, proper detailing ba or proper ba yung quality ng ating structure sa site. Okay, that is this one. The different load combination of LRFD. So yung nabanggit ko lang kanina, this one is 1.4 dead load and 1.2 dead load, 1.6 live load. So this one is all different LRFD load combinations. So kapag may LR, that is roof live load plus F1L or 0.8W. Yung F1, that is 1.04 floors, that is greater than 4.8 and 0.5 for less than 4.8 kPa. 4.8 kPa in English is 100 pound per square feet. Okay. Next is this one, 1.2 dead load plus 1.6 wind plus F1L plus 0.5 roof live load. Okay, earthquake, yung letter E, earthquake load, yung W, that is the wind load, and yung H, that is the soil pressure load. So kapag walang soil pressure load, gawin mo lang siyang 0. That is the exact load combinations now. Okay, then for the ASD load combination, we have the following. Dead load alone. Kapag walang F, that is walang fluid load. So dead load lang to. Pwede mo to i-convert is as dead load lang. Or dead load. This one is wala yung HFT. So pwede mo yung 0, 0, 0. That is dead load plus live load. This one is dead load plus roof live load. This one is dead load plus 0.75 live load or temperature load. This one is kapag may wind or earthquake. This one is may earthquake loads. Okay. So kung mapapansin nyo, kapag may wind and earthquake load, gravity loads lang, pinapag-add lang talaga siya. Okay? Unfactored load. However, kapag may earthquake kasi and may wind, meron lang yung mga factor na over 1.4. Okay? So, yan lang naman yung may factor. Other cases, wala na. Okay? That is the ASD load combinations. So, compared to LRFD, marami talagang factor yung load talaga. Kaya nga tinawag siya ng load factor and resistance factor or load resistance factor design. Okay, then we have the different fee resistance factor in LRFT. Take note that in tension members, we have 0.9, 0.75. Okay, compression, we have 0.9. For the beams, we have 0.9. For the welds, we have 0.75. So resistance factor, kung mapapansin nyo, is always less than 1.0. Therefore, it is an understrength factor and we are underestimating the nominal strength of the member. Okay? So more on this kapag nandun na tayo sa mga topic ng tension members, compression members, beams, and welds. So for now, overview lang to ng mga resistance factor. Okay? Then for the factors of ASD, so this one is the traditional values is 1.65. So this one is saan nakuha ba yung 1.65 na 1.67. So ito kasi yung inadapt ni ASD whereas the exact value is 1.65. So saan ba yung derivation ng ng 1.67? Okay, so reference nito is Salmon and Malhas in 2009 whereas yung resistance minus the change in resistance is equals to the demand load plus the change in demand load. So we will rearrange that factor out Rn, that is 1 minus change in Rn over Rn is equals to Q plus, is multiplied by 1 plus delta Q over Q. Whereas your delta Q over Q is the overload strength and delta Rn over Rn is your under strength. Okay. Then factor of safety is we have Rn over Q given by this equation, the 1 plus delta Q over Q, 1 minus delta Rn over Rn. Assuming that delta Q over Q is 40% and assuming that delta Rn is equals over Rn is 15%. Without identifying the factors contributing to either value, we have 15%. Therefore, our factor of safety is 1.4 over 1 minus 0.15, we have 1.65. Take note that the traditional AISC value of the factor of safety is 1.67 and it is used in the ASD. Okay. So overall, the LRFD is designing member and connection using loads, resistance, and factor design such that no applicable limit state is reached when subject to appropriate load combinations. And the ASD is the designing of members connection such that the calculated stresses do not exceed the specified material stress when subjected to appropriate load combinations. Okay, so the question is why should LRFD be used according to Professor Biddle? So according to Professor Biddle, so ito yung main contributor ng AISC. Ito yung pinakamaraming contribute sa AISC. So si Professor Biddle. So according to him, we should use LRFD. So ito yung mga list down of why we need to use LRFD versus the ASD. Okay, so the adoption of LRFD is not mandatory but provides a flexibility and option to the designer. Also, the rationality of LRFD has always been attractive and becomes the incentive permitting the better and more economical use for some load combination and structural configuration. So mas economical daw siya in some load combination and structural configurations. Then using multiple load factor combination should lead to economy. So since the LRFD is maraming load combinations, okay, that is will lead us to economical design. Okay. LRFD will facilitate the input of the new information on loads and load variations such as information becomes available. And LRFD makes the design in all materials are more compatible. Okay. Safer structure may result under LRFD because the method should lead to a better awareness of structural behavior, and economy is likely to result for low live load to dead load ratio. Therefore, kalimitan naman malaki yung mas mababa yung live load when compared to dead load kasi meron tayong self weight and superimposed dead load. Therefore, we should use LRFD, di ba? So for high live load to dead load ratios, there will be slightly greater cost. Okay? So this in the cases naman kapag high yung live load, mataas yung live load compared to dead load, so maybe you consider ASD at that combination or arrangement naman. Okay? So that is the cases where you should use LRFD. So that's it for the reference natin. We have the American Institute of Steel Construction, the book of McKeer or Matrix Structural Analysis, Salmon and Mal has designed, and SEGI and the NSCP 2015. Okay, so next meeting na lang natin i-discuss yung steel and properties. Okay? So do you have question, guys?